Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Vance, the Bard of the Red Hand here, back with another video. Today we're outside in my backyard. We've got a pretty nice day here and I didn't want to waste it, so I'm here outside. Before we jump right in, I want to go ahead and remind everyone that I do have a Patreon, and if you want to support what I do here, that's the best and most direct way to do it, so just head over there, check it out. My lowest tier is only $1. Also, don't forget to drop a comment down below, smash the like button, and subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers. I was trying to do that before the show drops, but now it looks like that'll happen after. Go ahead and sub if you enjoy what I'm doing here. I also want to call out my high tier patrons, Unraveling the Pattern and Darish Sadai. Thank you both so much for subscribing at my highest tier. I really appreciate it, and the support that both of you have given this channel basically since I started, before I even had the Patreon. Without support like yours, I wouldn't be able to keep doing what I do here. I also just want to call out the rest of my patrons. I see you, and I appreciate everything you do for me. Oh, another thing I want to call out, some of you may have noticed that I've been doing these daily countdown images until we get to the day before the show, so be on the lookout for those on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, here on YouTube as well, actually. If you see them, go ahead and share them out, retweet them, repost them, do whatever it is you need to do. I am just so excited. Let's go ahead and jump into the video. This video is not going to be scripted. It's just going to be me giving you my thoughts leading into the premiere of the show. This will probably be the last video I drop before the show premieres, so I felt like I needed something to mark the occasion and the milestone and just share my general giddy excitement with you all. I know everyone is pretty excited and we're ready. We're so ready for this show. So I do want to hit on some of the news that's happened here recently. We've had quite a number of really small content drops coming out, so much so, in fact, that I just opted to not cover them because they're so small and short. We are getting new stuff in them every single time, but I just feel like this close to the show, like, why do I even need to bother with it? I've seen a few creators out there who are actually on top of it and getting it out there, and that's another reason I haven't been doing it, because I'm just not able currently to sit down right when they drop or come across my desk and do a reaction or a breakdown of them. So I'm leaving that to like Let's Be Nerdy and WoTTube. They seem to be really on top of it right now, and I'm happy that we at least still have some folks out there who have the time to dig into it and give us those little bits of like granular analysis. I know that with the Dusty Wheel being busy heading off to the premiere in London, we haven't been having streams. I mean, these drops 9 months ago would have been a 3-hour live stream, right? Like each one of these, but now that we're so close, it's just like, we can't even. So my personal favorites of the clips have been the ones featuring Nynaeve. Now, these are really important to me because they show me that they've kind of got the right idea about Nynaeve's character, right? It was a little worrisome at first that we were just seeing a whole bunch of clips of her being badass, and I know other creators have gone on and on about this, but what makes Nynaeve's character so important is her vulnerability and her imposter syndrome. The fact that she doesn't feel good enough at the beginning of the series to really be doing it, and that causes her to overcompensate through being a little bit touchy, maybe irritable in some regards. So I really appreciate that in these clips of her we've gotten, we get to see some of that vulnerability. We also had 2 new songs drop from Lorne Balfe. We had Kaisen Shar and Mashiara. Now, both of these songs are phenomenal, and I think I like Kaisen Shar the most of the 4 we've gotten so far, but admittedly I haven't listened to the White Cloak theme as much because it's only available on the Dusty Wheel live stream, and neither of them hit the emotional height that Alnaito hit because it was the first one. So, I mean, it's going to be hard picking a favorite once that album drops. I'm pretty excited for that, so that should be coming up here soon. It's just, we've got so much stuff, y'all. Alright, but that's enough of the news, y'all. Y'all can go out there and Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and find all that stuff if you want. Let's go ahead and get into the reason I wanted to make this video, which is I wanted to just document how I'm feeling before I go into the show, which will be premiering on Amazon Prime November 19th, so that's next week. Now, I'm very excited, and I can't wait, and I've been a big fan of I'm here for the changes, so I just want to stop and kind of take stock of how I'm feeling before the show is out, and really dive into what I am expecting from the show in terms of what I want them to get right and what I hope is changed. And let's go ahead and start this off with one big change we already know about. There was an interview released with Rafe yesterday where in it he mentioned, I believe it was with IO9, and in that interview he mentioned that they've done away with the concept of gendered souls. For any of you who know about my channel, who've been here with me for a long time, you'll know that I did make a video kind of playing with this concept and how it relates to transgender identities within the world of the Wheel of Time. Now, one thing I did in that article is I played to Jordan's gender essentialism to a degree, and it didn't compensate for non-binary and gender-fluid individuals. So that's definitely a point in that video where I could have done better, but I do at least call out that I was not equipped at that time to really touch on it. Now again, cishet white male here, occupying a place of privilege in society. Totally get that I don't really have much of a leg to stand on here. However, I feel like I did a fairly good job on that, and much of the response I've had on that video from the open-minded community has been very positive. So I am personally happy to kind of see this change. Now, it's a fundamental change to the metaphysics of the Wheel of Time, at least as they appeared in the books. However, I want to call out one thing that Jordan always said in interviews, and it was that the truth you think you know is not the truth that is. And this is one thing he played with a whole bunch. No one in the Wheel of Time actually knows how everything works to a T. And Jordan designed the system in such a way that he could literally make any change to the story and it's canonical. He can make any change to his metaphysics and it's canonical. Because we have this adage right here: the wheel weaves as the wheel wills. Which means anything the wheel deems necessary to maintain the integrity of the pattern, it can do. So that means any change Jordan wanted to make later on would be canon no matter what, and it doesn't break his system. So that's one of the things that I like that Rafe is playing with here, and I do understand some of the apprehension about it, because this is getting into like fundamental changes to how people thought the series has worked for the last 25 years. You know, ever since these concepts started being revealed from like the Shadow Rising forward. And it is a change. It's a big one, and I just want to caution folks who are worried about it to give it a chance. It's not as important to the core story as you think it is, and I definitely think that it is in line with that thinking of the Wheel of Time turns, and so long as it deems anything necessary, it can make that change. And honestly, outside of the world of the Wheel of Time, those who dictate the wheel are the people writing the stories, right? So in this instance, with Sony Pictures being the license holder for the Wheel of Time and Rafe working for them and writing the story, they are the ones who get to dictate how it moves forward. Now, I mean, I know this hurts a lot of folks who have like massive stake in canon, but loosen up your ideals of canon, right? Like, look back to classical mythology and all of these other ancient mythological stories and cycles we have. They don't all have one set of stories that is the canon. They have varying stories featuring myriad characters that have different adventures, and there's no timelines or anything like that, so just don't worry about it too much, is my opinion of it. I used to be a big canon person because I started with Tolkien. I think that's where a lot of this comes from, is there are people who are the stewards of Tolkien's canon that like to have everything in a nice, neat little box. And I get it. It makes it easy for tracking and compartmentalization. And honestly, like, if you just use canon for that purpose, I'm totally fine with it. That's A-okay in my book. But when you start using it to exclude people from injecting new ideas, like emphatically exclude them and tell them that no, they're inherently wrong and they can't be a part of your club, then that's where you lose me. Anyway, I don't want to harp on this too much, but that is a big fundamental change, and I did see that there was a lot of controversy, quote unquote, around it. The Wheel of Time is an infinite cycle, and over infinite rotations, you're going to see every permutation of everything ever. It doesn't matter. So, ultimately you need to open your mind to that, because I know it's hard, because humans have no concept of infinity, actually. It's vague and nebulous. but, you know, infinite turnings from the original Third Age we got in the books, Egwene could be the Dragon Reborn, because the wheel will have changed what it needs. The next point is that I'm getting more and more confident that they've nailed the characters just from various interviews and little clips we've gotten, where we see every character now having dialogue and interacting with each other. I'm thinking that the heart of the characters is still going to be there, even if they've moved and shuffled some details around. This is going to be really interesting, especially if they do throw us like a curveball and we have to relearn this one aspect of some of our characters, like with Matt. I think when it came out that, you know, maybe his parents aren't necessarily fantastic, you know, or maybe Matt just doesn't view his parents as fantastic. You know, maybe Matt desires to be wealthy and his parents desire nothing more than to be farmers and horse traders. You know, there's those kinds of things, and we have to go back and constantly remember the unreliable narrator, right? Like, just because Matt thinks one way, what do his actions say? And what does the actions of everyone around him say? So we got to go back, because that's a core concept of not just Matt, every character that we go time, but especially characters like Matt and Nynaeve. That is their core, like, character flaw, is that what we read in their head is not what they do on the page necessarily. You have to keep that in mind, and remember that their thoughts are separate from their actions. And then, of course, other big changes are, like, we've lost locations, and we're changing some things, like, there's some discrepancies, too. Like, obviously, we're not getting Camelin in Season 1. That's been known for the entirety of the last year and a half, basically. But one thing that is interesting is in the U.S., on the Prime Video Explore tab, where they have the map, they have a town labeled Green Spring. Now, this is a book location, and it's mentioned. However, I was told that I think it was in Germany, the map says Bearlorn. So it's very confusing. We don't know what they're doing with this town because we have conflicting info. So if it's Bearlorn, they've moved it significantly further away from the two rivers than it initially was placed. I think it's likely Green Spring. I don't think it's Bearlorn, because it is just where they put it on the map is too close to Camelin for it to be Bearlorn, if they're keeping the map relatively the same. So yeah, other thoughts and feelings are just that I'm excited. I am a little bummed that I cannot go to one of the early fan screenings. I did get an invite, by the way, but I already had that week off for plans. My mother-in-law is visiting from South Korea, and we have plans to take her places, and Dallas just wasn't in the cards for that week, sadly. It's really, really sad. So, yep, I would have loved to have gone. I would have loved to have hosted that screening, but I just needed a little bit more time, because I'd already locked in other plans. But for all of you who are going to fan screenings, enjoy it for me. Please don't spoil me or anyone else, but enjoy it. Let us know how just the experience of going to the screening was. I hope to see videos about that. Obviously, if you're going to make videos and tweet content or write anything about the spoilers of the show, please tag that for all of us who cannot make it until the 19th. So, yeah, another big shout out to my friends Nameless, The Dusty Wheel, Daniel Green, and all of my friends over at Dragon Mount. Those of you who are getting to go to the London screening, I'm so happy for you, and I'm proud for all of the hard work that has paid off for you. Seriously, it is just amazing that they even pulled in fan creators like this, y'all. No one does this. This is an unprecedented marketing move. Honestly, like, there is no marketing that involves fans to this level. And, I mean, it's just amazing. So, kudos to y'all. I'm so happy for you. I'm jealous. Of course I'm jealous. I just can't contain how happy I am at the same time, if that makes any sense. It's like, I wish I was going, but I'm happy that you're at least getting to go. So, it's gonna be... And Critter XD, I forgot. How could I forget? Can't wait to watch some of them TikToks. I hope you get to do stuff with the cast. It's just... Of course, I'll be tuning in for the Dusty Wheels live show as a mod over there on the YouTube channel. So come on over, hang out with us there while Matt and Taylor deliver us all of the red carpet goodness. It's going to be amazing. So yeah, again, go ahead, like the video, drop a comment down below, subscribe to the channel. Just let me know what you're most excited about for the show, the thing you're most looking forward to. Don't forget to check out the Patreon. Link will be down below in the description. You can follow me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Twitter is RedHandBard. Instagram is RedHandBard, but with underscores between red and hand. And Facebook is The Bard of the Red Hand. Obviously, I'm here on YouTube at The Bard of the Red Hand, and I will see you all next time.